Okay, welcome to part 3 of Unit 2 with if statements. We're talking about extended if statements in this video. Let's say I already wrote the code out and commented it out, so we'll just do section by section. Let's say I have a variable called IntGrade, and it's set equal to 80. And I want to determine what letter grade the person should get, so I make a bunch of if statements. Now, if you look at this, if int grade is greater than or equal to 90, you have an A. If it's greater than or equal to 80, you have a B. Greater than or equal to 70, you have a C, and so forth. Well, this will be a logical error. It will actually run, so let's go ahead and run it. And notice the output is B, C, D, okay, because 80 is greater than or equal to 80. 80 is also greater than or equal to 70, and 80 is greater than or equal to 60. So to prevent that from happening, I'll go ahead and comment this out and do it with what we call compound relational operators using the and and ors. Okay. And let's try another attempt at this. So here I corrected that problem by simply adding an and statement, and now if 80 is greater than or equal to 80 or less than 90, you have a B, and this corrects the problem. But one thing with Java, it checks each and every if statement. Yeah, and even if it's false, it goes on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So it has to check each and every if, no matter what, to see if it's true or not. Okay, and this corrects that problem where only one could be true, but it doesn't correct the problem where everyone has to be checked. We really don't have to check each one, because once I have a B, I don't have to worry about C, D, or F, but in this case, we check each and every one. So to resolve that, we use what we call extended if statements. And that's down below here, and I'll comment it out. Okay, so if you look at this piece of code, we use if, else if, else if, else if, else. Now, the way this works is the very first true that it finds, it runs and skips the rest. Okay, so again, we're using the same values. Int grade equals 80, and it's not greater than 90, so it goes to the next one. Int grade is greater than or equal to 80. This is true, so it runs B, and it totally skips C, and it's supposed to be D and F. Okay, so it totally skips the rest of them. Okay, it doesn't even check them, and in that case, by doing that, we don't have to put our and statements. Okay, only one of these will run, and it's the very first true one that it comes to. And remember, it goes from top to bottom. It checks the first one, then the second one, and the third one. Once it finds a true one, it jumps out and skips the rest of them. So we could get by without using the and statement. So it's much better than before, and it's a little bit faster. But there's actually even a better way to do this. Okay, with extended if statements, since we're checking int grade, is this the fastest way? Well, structure-wise, yes. Okay, but if you think about grading, and let's say we have 1,000 students, and we're doing grading for 1,000 students, we have to run through this if, else if, else if 1,000 times. Well, if you think of the bell curve, okay, bell curve where majority of kids are supposed to have a C, a little bit more, less kids have B's and D's, and less kids have A's and F's. This is what we call bell curve, typically in some type of test. So the majority of kids are average, so they should end up with a C. So we're talking about like 1,000 students we want to run through this program. So if that's the case, to make your program even faster, it'll be wise to put C on top since that occurs the most. Okay, and since C occurs the most, it's going to check, once it finds its C, it's going to skip the rest, and the rest will not be checked. And the one that occurs next to the most would be B or D, okay, depending, but you would do B and D and then A and F, okay. So since C occurs the most, it'd be wise to put it at the top. This will make your program run faster since C occurs most often out of the group, and the one that occurs the most often you should put at the top because it would avoid checking the rest of them. That pretty much wraps it up for extended if statements. Let's just go through some things here. Adjust my screen. Extended if statements. It can also replace nested if statements in a series of if statements. I showed you with a series of if statements there. And it makes the program runs much faster. It does a good thing with extended if statements. Once it finds a true one, it jumps out, doesn't check the rest. This is just a format of extended if statements. If, else if, else if, else if. The same rules applies with an if. If there's only one statement you do not need a begin or end. If there's more than one statement, you need a begin and end symbols. Here we have just an example of a if, else if, else if. And again, I used the braces. It's up to you. Since these are only one statement, you don't really have to use the braces. Okay. And again, it's wise to put the condition that occurs the most at the very beginning of the if, else if. Okay, and I showed you why. Okay. Next chapter we'll get into switch case statements and some common errors, which is not part of the AP exam, but I like to cover it anyways because a lot of programs still have switch case statements in them. And when you go to college, you might run into it. That wraps it up for extended ifs. If you have any questions, again, email me. Make sure you read your chapters, do your worksheets, and start on your programs. Have a nice night.